in their veins. Mackie and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
That's just part of camp at this point at camp. You're going to have guys beat up a little bit, a little tired, a little sore. But I'm excited about what this group can do from a depth perspective. You saw guys that were making plays today that maybe weren't getting that many reps before. So it's good to get guys these opportunities, get guys these reps, and let them really show what they can do.
Yep. That's how we talk about Mackie and Judd, too, just reps. We just need those daily reps.
We got plenty of them back in the day, my man.
We're 7 years into these
practices,
daily reps.
Those two-a-days were plenty.
Yeah, well, those weren't even two-a-days. Those are just straight 4-hour practices for us, actually. No water breaks either until the very end.
8-hour practices, too, for the producer who was in at 4 in the morning to get in there. So, yeah, it was even more fun for that.
Well, this is Mackie and Judd, daily Minnesota sports entertainment. You can find us anywhere you find podcasts, SKORNorth.com, and the SKOR North YouTube channel. And boys, it is a Statements Monday here. We're also going to get to later in the show. We're going to do a full dissection of the A-Rod and Mark Lowry comments across 2 different athletic articles. Just do a full Timberwolves deep dive. But you guys ready for some statements on this Monday here from the weekend?
Let's see. Am I ready for statements? Oh, I only started on Saturday writing down statements. Damn right I am.
I actually started on Friday on an airplane.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, Phil.
Which
yeah,
we're gonna
I
get
can't
to.
wait for that.
Yes.
So,
I am looking forward to this.
Statement number 1, give Oli Udoh a chance. And I'm saying this not only to you guys in the audience, I'm saying it to myself as well, because I think I've been very quick to say, and rightfully so, oh, good job fixing the offensive line. Your right guard competition is now Dakota Dozier, one of the worst offensive line performances in NFL history last year, Drew Samia, who was maybe worse in his 4-game stretch, and Oli Udoh, who I mistakenly said had never played an NFL snap. I'm sorry, he's played 34 of them, most of those in Week 17 of 2019. And I say give Oli Udoh a chance for a couple reasons here. Reason number 1, he checks the main box for the Vikings starting right guard. He's not Dakota Dozier or Drew Samia. Right? So for that reason, you're not going to hear any Oli Udoh slander from me until he gets blown up 5 times in a preseason game or a regular season game. And I did a deep dive, gentlemen. I went to the NFL.com pre-draft scouting report from when Oli Udoh was a 6th-round pick. Okay?
Nice.
And one thing I like is, because remember, he was drafted as a tackle. He played sort of small-time college football as a tackle. Most of the knocks on him in the, like, why would he potentially fail in the NFL? Why is he a 6th-round pick? Most of those knocks were things that would limit him as a tackle, such as, and I read,
football.
Oh, my God.
Speed to power rushers catch his frame and create some early push into the pocket on the edge. And he lacks athleticism for extended mirroring around the top of the arc on the edge.
Okay.
And so
if
you slide him to the inside where he doesn't have to worry about getting beat by some of these speed rushers in the NFL, and he's going to slide to a place where athleticism and quickness still matters in the Vikings run blocking scheme, but it's a little bit less important than just holding your ground, right? I'm sitting here today, I'm raising my hand and saying, you will hear no more Oli Udoh slander from me. He is the leading candidate to be the Vikings starting right guard until he gets forklifted off the line of scrimmage 7 times in Week 1. If that happens, I will rip him. But for now, give Oli Udoh a chance.
I don't think with his size he's going to get ragdolled like Garrett Bradbury does, but my concern with him is that he is going to be beaten because inside rushers today are far more quicker, savvy, and athletic than they used to be. And I think it's weird. I'd love to know what the discussions were to really, right before training camp, move him. Like, ordinarily, January would come, right? Season gets done, and you're like, Oli, come here. Yeah, what's up, coach? We're moving you to guard. Okay, coach, I'll spend the whole offseason working at guard. So it's sort of weird that we just, unless this was done and they didn't talk about it, but I don't think it was, that they did this now. But you know what, Phil? Your statement sets us up perfectly for the Oli Udoh theme song, which is all we are saying is give Oli a chance. Everybody's talking about tackle play and guard play and how are the Vikings going to be. All we are saying is give Oli a chance.
Do you want to hear some of the positive scouting traits from NFL.com?
Football.
Yeah, of course.
All right. I'm just going to read through some of these. Natural power with ability to engulf and bulldoze stationary opponents.
Football.
Tree trunks for legs with broad waist, burly chest, and long arms.
Football.
Oh, he's got the good arms. That's good for a tackle, actually, too.
Unlike, was it Sharif Floyd who had the T-Rex arms?
Yeah, small arms are a big deal. Who was the Packer draft pick? Was it Beluga years ago? Balaga from Iowa?
Brian Balaga.
Who had small, I think he had small arms, and the Green Bay media went nuts. The Wisconsin folks are like, we can't do this. Can't have this guy.
Can't get leverage.
Nope.
Flashes some nasty as a finisher and good rhythm in kick slides.
Football.
I like kick slides.
I like kick slides, yeah.
So,
in O-line and bands and country bands.
Okay.
Kick slides.
Give Oli a chance.
All right. My first statement comes off of news that came across on Friday, and we didn't get to it, but we'll get to it now. And it's very simple. Calm down, Mike. So that's calm down, comma, Mike. All right. I understand Christian Darrisaw is coming off January, I believe it was groin / what they refer to as core surgery. I understand that he's had setbacks, and this doesn't seem like it's going well, and I agree, that's a problem. But already growing impatient with the player and basically coming out and being like, well, if you can't practice, you can't practice. Okay, the problem with Zim is if this is how Zim was to us, but then privately was like, Christian, it's going to be fine, that might be okay. But we know Mike. What Mike tells us is what Mike reflects to players as well. This is the 23rd overall pick. What should be, I hope for the Vikings' sake, a franchise left tackle who can play that position here for a long time. I get it. He's damaged goods right now. It's less than ideal. He very well might have had a setback at some point, and they're not talking about that. But all of that doesn't make riding him it doesn't mean it's going to help. And athletes today, aside from the rare ones, don't really respond to that. I just always flash back to like Sharif Floyd and stuff, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't help the player. This guy's supposed to be in your long-term plans. In 2021 is important, but you know what else is? Everything beyond that. So just calm down, take a deep breath. This might not be what you want, but it doesn't help the player to ride him now and basically insinuate, well, if he can't get on the practice field, you know what, that's just fine. Then we'll get, Rashad Hill. No.
So is Zimmer like, is he just, how would you compare it to the Sharif Floyd thing? Because he really rode Sharif Floyd. That was early in Mike Zimmer's head coaching career. And Sharif wound up with an injury that prevented him from really ever playing again.
Yeah,
I don't think we're at that point with Christian Darrisaw by any means, but was it just sort of a throwaway comment? Has it been multiple times?
No, he kept talking. So he was asked one question about Darrisaw's progress or lack thereof, and he basically is like, well, he can't practice, and if he can't practice, he can't play, blah, blah, blah. And then there were like 2 or 3 follow-ups throughout the rest of the press conference in which you could tell that Zim's patience is pretty much gone, but it does him no good. Like at this point in time, this guy's career is going to extend, hopefully, long beyond the time that Zim is coach here. So it's not that he's to the Sharif Floyd point yet, but you can see it, the snowball starting to go. And the guy was legitimately hurt, okay? I get that there might be some things you don't like, but creating confrontation and being bristly about it right now doesn't really help him or you.
This is who he is. I think we're all a little bit surprised, right? When they drafted him, they knew that there was some cleanup stuff and some surgery there, right? But I think everyone's pretty surprised that he's not really playing yet, right? So this is more nagging than everyone thought, and that's probably where this is coming from Zimmer.
I want to say in minicamp, I think so that was 2 days. And it was less physical than this, but I want to say he was second team left tackle and now he's basically not taking part in team. He came back late last week, took part in some individual work, did no teamwork, and is still there. So yes, it's frustrating. It's not on plan.
So he's not starting week 1.
No way. But I'm just saying I don't see what good this does. Like, okay, he's not going to start. That's not great. But players his age right now, I don't believe respond to, well, if you can't practice, you can't play.
Okay, here's one more question off this, because I think part of this discussion is the Vikings had a win now window in which jobs are on the line. Cousins is not guaranteed to be a Viking after the year. Zimmer's not guaranteed to be a Viking. I think Spielman's more safe, but this is kind of a bleep or get off the pot season for the Vikings. And offensive line was one of, if not the biggest. Now, you could say defense was the biggest problem. They had some guys coming back that, like, Kendricks missed a month, Hunter missed the whole season. So they had to fix the defense in part by just getting guys back. But they needed to go out and draft or sign offensive linemen that were better than the incumbents, right? Mm-hmm. Did they know, was there a chance at all when they drafted Christian Darrisaw that his September was going to be in question? Did they draft a guy that they kind of knew was going to be iffy for the start of the season, or is all of this a complete shock?
No, it's not a complete shock, because he got hurt during the course of the college season, or they knew that he was hurt. He had surgery at the end of, I think it was January, and so he fell to 23 in part because of that. So this is not what they expected, but I think to say it's a complete shock would not be true.
Okay. It's just very interesting. I mean, I know that you're not just drafting a guy to help you this year. You're looking the next 10 years, and that's what they thought. But now Rashad Hill's going to be your starting left tackle, and Oli Udoh with zero experience in the NFL at
You know what, though? I don't want to hear from the quarterback. Drop back and pass the ball.
But it's a built. But these are all going to be built-in reasons or excuses, right? I mean, it's kind of a free pass to say, well, what's he supposed to do?
I say we remove the excuses. I'm tired of them. I'm tired of all of them.
But if Rashad Hill is your left tackle and Oli Udoh is your right guard,
well,
then that's not fair. That's not fair if you're Kirk Cousins. And I am as staunch of a Kirk Cousins criticizer as anybody. That's not how you should protect Kirk Cousins.
No, it's not. But I mean, they've had this problem year after year after year, and at some point in time, somebody, and it could be the quarterback, I don't know whom, has to overcome it to be successful.
Yeah. All right, Dex.
All right, my first statement. It's let's get wild, and I'm not talking about the hockey team.
Bar scene?
I'm not talking about the bar scene. My bleep show of a dating scene, or
Girls Gone Wild with Dex,
or the Wolves,
Does
or the
Girls
Twins.
Gone Wild still exist, or that guy's in jail, right?
I think it's done.
I bet there's still some paid programming ones, on the local channels at 2 or 3 in the morning that are the next step up. But I'll say let's get wild, and I'm talking about wildcat formations. I'm talking about wide receiving pass. I'm talking about getting creative, getting players in the shotgun, because if there is a situation where Kirk Cousins is not the starting quarterback, we're going to have to get creative. You can't just give Dalvin Cook 40 handoffs a game. Now, you can give him 40 touches a game. You can put him in the wildcat. You can figure out other different ways to get really creative. They're experimenting with this at training camp. So my first statement is let's get wild. Now, also, I love me a wide receiver pass. I was talking with Judd about this last week on our training camp. I was talking with Chip Scoggins on Conduits of Trouble last week. The wide receiver pass, I have no idea why, excites me maybe more than any other play in football. I don't know why. And maybe because it doesn't happen a lot. I love
Punter pass?
Fake punt is second.
Ooh.
Fake punt is second. Because a fake punt, when executed properly, is chef's kiss. But it doesn't happen very often.
I would say Reese Lloyd, former Gophers punter and kicker, is my favorite fake punter ever because his Australian style, like you would get the snap and then you would roll out to your right or left for the punt. And so it just became, that's what he does. He rolls out to the left or the right and he punts it. And so teams would get so used to this that they would just start running down the field. He's going to punt it. And then he would 4 times a year, he would just follow the opposing team down the field with their backs to him. So I think if you could maybe steal something from Australian rules, I'm here for it.
And I don't know if Clint Kubiak, if we adopt like a little pistol formation, we just get really, really creative here, but we might have to get wild. So let's get wild with this Vikings offense.
I don't think this is going to be the last I want to talk about quarterbacks and COVID until something actually happens again because I'm so sick of it. But I honestly think Kirk is going to go out of his way. Like he was dead serious about plexiglass. Like I think he will go to great lengths to just avoid all human contact so that he doesn't have to go through the like tail between the legs thing like he did last week. So I don't think you're going to have to worry about it, but we'll see. We'll see. I think he's going to live in a I think he's going to live in a foam.
He's going to live in a bubble.
Yep.
Like
Bubble
people have been
boy.
joking about.
Yep.
All right.
All right. My next statement is presented by our friends at the Minnesota Twins. They just took 3 out of 4 from the Houston Astros. You guys jumped off
Look
board.
out.
I'll distance
I've told you
my
all
statement
season.
about him from this. I got a statement on the Twins. I'll wait.
That's fine. I've told you all season this team is ready to come back and do some historic things in the
Andrelton
second
Simmons.
half. Yep. But so the Twins are celebrating the 30th anniversary of the 1991 World Series later this week, August 13th through the 15th, when they take on Nelson Cruz and the Rays. And so you're going to have a chance to meet and take photos with World Series heroes and all kinds of fun stuff. Special pregame ceremony on Saturday this upcoming weekend. Get your tickets at twinsbaseball.com/tickets. Okay? All right, speaking of Kirk. So I was watching 2 nights of Hall of Fame inductions. We had the 2020 class, the 2021 class. I know Declan hates Peyton Manning, but I think my statement is generally quarterbacks who win Super Bowls have a certain gravitational pull to their personalities. And, you know, people ask, well, you can't compare Kirk to Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Well, it's a salary cap league. You're looking for a guy at that position who's paid as much as he is to be able to rise up and lead a team through adversity, to overcome obstacles that might be in your way, right? Just be that great player and leader and CEO of a team. And I'm watching Peyton Manning up there for like 10 or 12 minutes. He does 3 minutes of stand-up. He does a couple minutes of storytelling. He does a couple minutes at the end on just like what we need to do to breathe life into football in the future. And it's like everybody's hanging, except for Declan, on every single word that Peyton Manning says. And you could say the same thing about when Tom Brady speaks. I think you could say the same thing when Patrick Mahomes speaks. And so I guess second part of my statement is never has it been more evident what most championship quarterbacks look like. The Russell Wilsons, right? Than when contrasting Peyton Manning at that podium in front of the world and millions and Kirk in front of a podium and in front of his teammates. It's not the same ballpark. So
It's the difference between the CEO of a Fortune 500 company and the CEO of the store down the street from me. That's not a chain. That's what that is.
yeah, I hear you. So
All right.
just
In fact, I will play off your statement with a improvised Omaha statement and say this. Peyton Manning went so far. So we've always been talking about, you know, he's going to do TV, right? And he's going to be in the booth, and he's obviously now going to combine with his brother to do this Monday night gig this season. But my statement is this. Peyton Manning, if you listen closely yesterday, put his name out there to be commissioner of the National Football League one day.
Ooh, that's a great observation.
Peyton Manning put his name out there. He loves the sport. He's incredibly and Dex is not completely wrong. I know a lot of people who are annoyed by him, but he's incredibly smart.
I hear it pays well too to be the commissioner of the NFL.
That sounds all right.
And he is, but I mean, think about the attributes he brings as a player, as a businessman, as a person who absolutely loves this game. And Roger Goodell's done good and bad, but he's a guy who is a straight up business dude. Like, he is a PR guy, and look, the league has thrived. It's fine. But that being said, a guy like Peyton who would step in and understand the history of the game, who participated in that as well, Peyton Manning yesterday, what I heard was a guy who would be very comfortable potentially being commissioner someday of the National Football League.
How old did you guys feel watching Paul Tagliabue at the podium? At first I was like, who's this guy? Oh my God. That's Paul Tagliabue. He's 80 years old.
Oh yeah, no, I didn't see him.
And he was fine. And then Tom Flores,
yeah, I saw him.
2-time Super Bowl champion, and
He was great.
guys in a wheel. I mean, he had to have help getting out of a wheelchair. It's like, God, I
was
remember
really good.
these guys as a kid, you know? Anyhow. All right, Declan, go ahead and tee off on Peyton Manning or
All right, you know what?
else.
I will do this. I will do this
He's
for
gonna
Peyton.
rip
I'll
him
do an
now.
impromptu statement.
gonna rip him.
Convince me why I should like Peyton Manning. And also, I am willing to give him a chance in this
Okay,
new
well-
role. I'm willing to give him a chance. I know I've been ripping him up and down.
What don't you like?
I don't get it. I don't understand
Okay,
the
but-
lore.
Like,
He's
give me
witty,
two things
he's
that annoy
charismatic,
you.
he's funny, he's a stand-up comedian. Like that dude literally could do stand-up
He's a
comedy.
smart
if he
ass,
wanted
but he's
to.
funny at it.
I think that's maybe why, because I'm kind of a smart ass. Maybe I'm just threatened by the fellow smart assian in him. I don't get it. I just don't gravitate towards him. It doesn't do it for me.
I feel like you need to tell us in more detail why you don't think. Like, do you think
Right.
people think he's funnier than he is?
Yeah,
he's smart. He's witty. He's hilarious.
I definitely think he's smart. He's obviously
He's
a
got a
smart
huge
dude.
head.
He's got a gigantic
But
nose.
you
I'm
don't
sure
think
bugs some
you don't
people.
think he's funny, is what you're saying.
No, I don't think he's funny.
Oh my God.
I don't think he's funny
Really?
at all. No.
The SNL stuff didn't.
The
thing with the kids?
the digital short where he throws the football at the kid's back
That's one of the
noggin is
greatest
great.
sports skits they've ever done.
Yeah, he helps write those. You know.
I'm willing to adopt him back in and apologize for my remarks on him, but I don't get it. He doesn't do anything for me.
He loves the game too. Like, he sincerely does,
And
which I think is
you know
awesome.
What? Him as a commissioner, I think that would be good. I think that would be a good idea. Roger Goodell is completely tone deaf. I don't think Peyton is tone deaf.
God, would you want that job? Like, if you're already worth
Yeah.
$500 million,
You know what,
would you really
though,
want the
dude?
pain in the ass of being the commissioner?
I didn't think
of the
so
NFL?
till that. When he spoke about the game itself, that seemed to me to almost be a political statement about how he feels. And he clearly sees, and I think he's right. So we all say the league's in great shape, and yes, it's popular. But he looks at the grassroots, which is not in great shape, probably because of concussions and parents not allowing their kids to play. And he was talking about that. Like, that was a very deep statement about where football is today, far beyond the pros or colleges.
Have we ever had a commissioner of one of the 4 major men's leagues who comes from a former player background, not like a college player, but like a legitimate former
I
player?
gotcha.
'Cause they all come from usually the legal side, the marketing side in the NBA, right? Adam Silver, David Stern,
think so.
Tagliabue. So
No, I think you're
that
right.
would be and really, like, as a commissioner, yeah, you're looking out for the good of the game, and you have to build good relationships, ideally with the players. But your ultimate goal is to get the owners what they want first and foremost, and fight the players. So that would be an interesting dynamic if you're that. All right, who wants it? Who wants the next statement?
I think it's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The Vikings got lucky. So I'm going back to Friday afternoon's practice. Justin Jefferson, slant route, third consecutive pass in an 11-on-11 drill thrown by Kirk Cousins to JJ. And Breland decides to, well, let's just say, give an enthusiastic thump to the star receiver on the Vikings. He goes down, lands heavily on his left shoulder, and starts screaming is probably too strong, but definitely expressing injury. And I thought to myself, my God, he broke his collarbone, or he broke his arm, or something bad. Walks off with the athletic training staff, arm basically dangling. And we find out that it's a sprained AC joint, which is not great. But then I saw him at the stadium downtown on Saturday for the practice, and he was actually catching passes with his right arm and didn't have a brace or a device on his left arm, which leads me to believe that he should be set to go for week 1. But in a week that was a terrible week, I mean, there was a lot of distractions, shall I say, with that team. That would have been the coup de grace. And the Vikings are very fortunate that was not far worse. And by the way, everybody from now on, if you're practicing against him, lay off Justin Jefferson.
Seriously.
So
He doesn't need you being aggressive.
So did Breland tackle him?
Sort of hit him, and he landed on him. So, yeah, he basically did. Like, it's a
what are you
bang-bang play.
doing, you idiot?
It's a bang-bang play. Well, here's the problem. The day before, I think it was Cousins, threw a deep ball down the sideline to Jefferson, and he made a lunging catch. Breland's there again. On that one, he sort of comes down and tries to strip the ball and Jefferson lands thud and didn't get up real quickly. And I'm like, oh my God. And he got up and was okay. But, like, you just don't need to do this.
I feel like Breland, also based on just some of the things he tweeted publicly before the Vikings, like between when the Vikings lowballed him and then eventually offered him a bigger contract, he's out there tweeting about getting no respect. I think our guy, Bashad Breeland, might lack a little awareness. And it might leak into other areas of his career, too. Dude, what are you doing? Don't come within 10 feet of Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, it feels like he's trying to impress, which in preseason games, okay, if that's your deal. But Justin Jefferson, come on.
I get it. Like, he's fighting for a starting spot.
Yeah.
It's basically between him and Cam Dantzler, right, for the outside spot with Mackenzie Alexander in the slot. Is that?
And I think Breland's got it. So just calm down.
And by the way, here is the play from practice. So I don't know if you saw it there.
He's right on him.
Yeah. And sort of takes him down.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's just not necessary.
Just stay away. Just stay away. Yeah. All right. I've got the airplane scenario here for you guys if you want it now. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, this airplane conundrum is powered by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company.
It's sponsored.
Right? So Federated does a lot of work for a lot of great Minnesota businesses. They've also had a great relationship with the Timberwolves and the Gophers. They're a proud sponsor of Gophers Athletics. And they have all kinds of trusted resources and tools available for you business owners to maximize the success of your business and minimize risks and damage. Federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Here's my statement. Speaking of self-awareness, people need to just relax and enjoy the flight on airplanes, all right? I'm going to paint a scenario, and I want you to tell me if I drew a line in the sand on my flight home from Nashville, Tennessee. I was at Podcast Movement Convention, soaking in things that we can apply to the Marconi finalist Purple Daily, Mackie and Judd. Maybe next year we can put Mackie and Judd in that mix. And so we're coming back. It's a full flight. Flights are full now. You got people in middle seats now. I always get the aisle seat whenever possible because it's just like mentally for me, I'm with you. This is like a 4.5 hour flight too. Like I just want to make sure that if I have to go to the bathroom or something or stomach gets upset, I like the peace. I've never used the bathroom on airplanes, but I like the peace of mind of knowing I don't have to hop over 9 people.
Could not agree more.
Yeah. So Declan and I are tracking it.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, I'm in the exact same boat.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
So I sit down. A guy comes in. And, I don't know, a guy who's probably in his mid-20s, just like, happy to be on the flight, right? Sits down in the middle seat next to me. And we both sit there for probably 15 to 20 minutes while everyone else boards and gets on the plane. All of the luggage compartments have now been shut overhead, okay?
Yeah.
So we're ready to rock. This plane's ready to take off. And I got my headphones in, which even if you're not listening to anything, it's always key to have the headphones in because you want to make a scene out of it if somebody wants to talk to you, right? Yep. So it's been a while since someone has gone through my headphone barrier. Like usually people look over and like, if you got the headphones in, I'm not going to bother you. Yep. This guy elbows me, like taps me and elbows me to get my attention right next to me in the middle seat. And I'm already thinking, oh my God, dude, what is happening? No. This better be an emergency. Mm-hmm. So I take my headphone off, and he goes, hey, so my friend is sitting in the aisle seat just a few rows up from us right here. Would you mind switching seats with her so we can sit next to each other on the flight? It's still an aisle seat, and it's 3 rows up, and so you would still have your aisle seat. And at first I said, my first reaction was, because I just want, like, we're about to take off. I just want to sit in my seat. I'm flying solo. I just want to sit in my seat. I don't want to be bothered. I got my headphones in. I'm listening to a podcast. All right.
It's probably it's like 6 a.m, too, right? Is it very early?
Yes. We literally boarded at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was awake at like 4 a.m, to get there and to be ready to rock. And I just want to pass out. All right. And so he says, it's an aisle seat. You guys can just switch seats. So I'll explain my logic here, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong. My first reaction was, yeah, we can probably do that. I'm thinking, I'm literally talking out loud. I'm like, I mean, yeah, I guess we can do that. But then I thought, my bag is right above me now.
Right, and you got to go back.
If I move 3 rows up, you don't get to like move. You know, people get up out of their seats, and like it's hard to go back multiple rows to get your bag, right? Mm-hmm. And so I said, honestly, dude, when we land, I don't want to have to wait or like go against the current to get my bag or wait for everyone to get off. It's not as simple as like letting 3 rows get off. Like, no, the whole train starts moving, and you have to sit there until they're all gone. And I gotta go. I want to get out. I want to get out off this plane, right?
I gotta go.
So I told him, why don't you just ask the person in the middle seat next to her if you can switch with them? And so he starts texting her. Now he's like, he thought that I was going to say yes. And so now he's all like, oh, God. And he said, and so he gets a response back from her. And apparently the guy in the middle seat was with the person in the window seat. So they weren't going to break it up.
They're not moving.
So he goes, oh, yeah, the guy in the middle seat is with the woman in the window seat. And he kind of throws it back to me, and I was like,
okay.
All right. And I put my headphone back in.
So you didn't move?
I didn't move.
Didn't move.
I drew a line in the sand. Was I unreasonable?
There's questions.
The whole plane was full. The whole plane was full.
There's questions to be asked here. Were all of the above cabin doors for carry-on closed?
Yes.
So they had closed them all up?
Yes.
So like you couldn't have got your bag out and switched with her.
So he suggested, you guys, what if we open up the carry-ons and like we switch your bags?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And I was like,
but they had closed. I
didn't want to. Like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that. I just want to sit here.
I feel like you were a slight Richard in this case, but I also feel as if he asked you too late. Like if the baggage or the doors above you are open.
Yeah.
And you can just grab your bag and switch with her quick. It's sort of an inconvenience, but it's not that hard.
Yeah, but it's also like far enough apart. It's not like 1 row up, right? It was like 3 rows up.
Yeah,
so it's far enough up.
If he asked early enough, I think you should have done it. But if he was asking at the last second, that's a weird ask.
All of the bins were closed. Literally, all of the bins were closed.
I probably would have said the lesson here: ask before. Like you got to ask earlier than that.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
Like I should have told him that.
I'll defend you. Well, I mean, it's a teachable moment, right? Teachable moment. You got to.
Son, this is a teachable moment for you. Don't ever bother me when I have headphones on a plane, unless we're going down.
Well,
okay.
And that's no, don't bug me then. That's a big ask though, because like Dawn will not move seats. She is superstitious as hell, so she won't even move seats. So like if I want to switch with her, it's a production. And like that's like 1 seat.
I'm not superstitious, but I can respect that thought process. Listen.
But she's like, this is my seat. If the plane goes down and they find my carcass, they're not going to know who that is. I mean, who knows? But anyway,
the other
that's
thing
a big ask.
The other thing I had to weigh here was if I say no, I have to sit next to this guy touching elbows for 4 hours, 4.5 hours. Am I okay with that? Usually I just sort of cave into the social pressure.
Sure.
Right.
No. I drew a.
How old was he?
Probably mid 20s, I would say.
Oh, then it's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. Like then you don't care. If the guy was 50, like me, because I would have made your life hell. But a
50-year-old wouldn't have asked that stupid question when all the bins were closed.
Not that. Yeah, not Correct. That late. That's just too late.
Am I being a Richard here?
You were being a Richard, but you were justified to be a Richard.
That's what I would say.
My also thing, and this is just me, again, clearly you and I would do well traveling together because we wouldn't say a single word on the flight, which is exactly what I want.
Yep, headphones in.
I have the same thing.
Yep.
Headphones in, noise canceling on.
Who talks on flights?
Drinks. I want drinks. I might giggle when I'm watching, you know, but that's not an invitation, by the way, for you to ask what I'm watching.
No. Yep.
I'm just enjoying what I'm watching.
None of your business.
No. And if there's an episode of Queer Eye on and I'm crying, don't console me. I'm enjoying this episode of Queer Eye.
Yeah,
it's a great show.
Right.
It's a great
show.
Yep.
Don't watch it, but you're right.
But this is also a big reason why I don't do overhead bins when I travel. I am a big-time checked bag at the airport person.
No.
I don't like having it with me. I don't like carrying it around.
But
Everything can go. I bring a backpack on the plane, but you know where that goes? Underneath my seat. People do not understand what goes and what does not go in the overhead bin. And that's one of the first things I do on a plane is I scout every idiot who puts a coat or an umbrella or something dumb that does not belong in the overhead bin.
Okay.
And I sit there and I
put
judge
a coat
them.
in there. Look, here's nothing bugged me more when I traveled than that stupid announcement of just put one thing. If I get there first, I'm putting as much stuff as I possibly can and screw you.
Just gonna lay up in the bin.
This is a free for all. But checking a bag, I hate checking.
I love checking a bag.
Oh, I hate checking bags. Then you got to go claim the damn bag, and there's the off chance they're going to lose the bag.
Yeah.
I want to be in control of my stuff as much as possible. I don't want to trust people.
Here's the other thing too. There should be some sort of process for like let's say I've got this happened on the way there, okay? This is another one, okay? Airplanes need to be better about demanding that people check their carry-ons after they've already gotten to the gate. So if you've got one of the roller carry-ons in a backpack, oftentimes they'll tell you that this flight's really full, and so we're going to need 10 of you to volunteer, and if we don't get enough volunteers, we're just going to start taking your bag and checking it, right? Well, they took my carry-on, not my backpack, but my roller on the way there. It's a first world problem. It's not that big of a deal. But like Judd said, they could lose it. Something could go haywire. I always worry because they make you bring it down the ramp and put it by the entrance to the plane there, and someone like Bob will grab it. Well, how do I know Bob's going to grab it? I don't know. I'm just going to set it there. What if someone takes it? Who knows?
Right.
And so you get on the plane. I realize we get on the plane. There was room for 50 other overhead bin bags, right? So I'm with Declan on that front. I don't like checking bags, but if it means avoiding the cluster bleep that is the overhead compartments, I think I side with him on that front.
I feel like I always get stuck with someone who I need help getting it in there, and I'm like, look at me. Do you think I'm built to help you?
Oh, you're
a
jerk. I help people
with
all the
manual
time.
labor.
If you can't if you can't lift it above your head, check it.
Lady, I'm helping you out.
No,
I'm
check
moving
the
it
bag.
along.
I'm a good person.
I'm moving it along, and I'm helping you out.
I literally went to college to talk. I don't have a lot of skills. Okay, I'm not
Declan,
gonna.
all you got to do is use your size
that.
and lift that puppy up.
God,
it's so
dude.
easy. And do you know how appreciative little old gals are for that?
Yeah, Ruth, why didn't you
thank
check
so
this
much.
bag
no
at
problem,
Delta?
ma'am.
I know you got
No problem, ma'am. There's another brownie point to heaven for me.
I know that Amex card gives you a free check bag. Just check it next time. I know it does. I have it. I know it does. Please, just do it.
The racket of the check bag as you're going down the ramp is this, though. They don't charge you for it. That's the racket of it. So it's smart to try and take as big a bag as possible on the plane, because if they're like, I'm sorry, sir, that's not going to fit, 9 times out of 10, they'll comp it and stick it underneath. It's great.
But that's even worse, because when you're going through security, you have to open it up, and maybe it doesn't fit through that, and then you're delaying the TC. I have airplane. Mackie and I are going to, I think now I kind of want to fly with Phil just to see how well this would work, because I have insane rules at the airport.
Okay, here's the thing. You have to be in control of the situation. That's the key.
And that's
the key.
And I took
control.
Right. I took
but
control
I'm saying
on Friday.
Going through
you talk about being
security.
A student of the game, JR.
I am game, JR.
Yeah, you're Peyton. You're Peyton bleeping Manning of flying, and that's what you should be.
That's right. Omaha. Stop
exactly.
talking to me, middle seat guy.
So when you go
Oh, by the way, his friend, she was sleeping for 4 hours, all right?
Yeah.
You're just gonna sleep anyways.
She probably was like, "Oh, I want to sit by you," and then he's like, "Oh, I'll try." And then he probably thanked you. He's probably like, "Thanks for not letting me do that." But there is no higher, in my opinion, place of anxiety than the line going through security, and that's where you have to take control and be in charge and be as prepared as possible. But people are also anxious. It's just like, calm down. I mean, we're just going to fly. Odds are we won't crash.
And if you do, you won't feel a thing.
Yeah, that's true, too.
I could go on for hours on airplane etiquette.
Well, you're right about talking, though. I'm with both of you guys on that. I don't understand people that talk.
So,
you don't know
going
me.
you going on vacation or are you going home? So, what do you do for a living, dude?
Here's the biggest thing.
Just stop, dude. Just stop.
Here's the biggest thing about a flight. Number one is if it goes smooth, if we take off and land successfully and deboard, I never want to talk to any of you. Worst case, it crashes. I will forever be tied in the manifest with you. It's all or nothing. So if I die, if our plane blows up or crashes, then we're all in this together, baby. Manifest, 80 names. I'm on it. You are. Otherwise, I never want to hear from you.
You got to check out that. It's on Netflix now. It's an ABC show called Manifest. It's good
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like a few episodes in.
I've heard of
So a flight
got canceled?
A flight,
Yeah.
A flight lands.
Yeah.
And we're
I
getting
watched the
off
first
plane. It's
episode.
great. And there's like security and all these people. Like,
Yep.
why is everyone acting all weird?
Yep.
Because your flight took off 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And you just landed now. What
We got a
happened?
different show.
So those are statements here, Mackie and Judd.
Oh, wait. I got one more, though. I got to throw in one more, okay?
Okay.
Because I teased it, so I should use it. Thanks to the 2021 Twins for showing up. I just want to thank you. You won 3 of 4 against the Astros, who are a good team. Thanks for
team in
showing up.
baseball. Yeah.
Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it now. Boys, this is a fun thing.
Nice job.
Statement.
Nice job, Twins. So those are your statements.